Ms. Madhumita Bagai, Chief People Officer, Mystique Group, a seasoned L&D professional with 18 plus years of experience in designing and delivering impactful training programs and enhanced workplace performance. Skilled in leadership, development, communication, and technical training with a strong grasp of adult learning principles. Adept at creating engaging interactive learning experiences tailored to organizational goals. Proven track record in leading L&D and coaching functions across corporates, managing large teams and driving business impact. Successfully executed projects for top brands like Levi's, Nike, LG, Samsung, and hospitality groups like Olive and Emily. Holds a master's in marketing and HR, an IIM certification in design thinking, and various credentials in Six Sigma, psychometric tools, and competency frameworks, enabling strategic, customized learning solutions that improve team dynamics and professional performance. With due respect, with a huge round of applause, let's invite our very first speaker for the day. Can we have Ms. Madhumita Bagai, Chief People Officer, Mystique Group, on the dais? And the topic is going to be creating a culture of well-being, prioritizing mental health and engagement. With due respect, ma'am, thank you for joining in. Everyone, please put your hands together.
Hi, morning everyone. I think it's a pleasure to be here today. Last week has been really jam-packed with a lot of events, internal events at our office. So honestly, I was contemplating whether should I be a part here today because I did not have any PPT or a video to share or talk about. But last night I just penned down a few thoughts and I thought it'll be good to share because this is a subject very close to my heart. So again, a very good morning, everybody. Thank you, Gain Skills, for this platform to talk about this. Something very, very important. I think a very important pillar today in all organizations. It's being woven into the fabric of every organization. And I think COVID has taught us that lesson to prioritize self and mental health. But do you all think it is something new? I think it always existed. The only shift is that now we are more vocal about it, we are more acceptable, and we talk about it quite a lot. From a culture of बहुत थक गया हूँ से लेकर taking a break to recharge myself, I think it has taken some time for each one of us today. Even the ancient epics, the Purans, the Vedas, and Ramayana and Mahabharata, they all have a mention of mental health, well-being, stress, but again, not explicitly labeled as anxiety or stress, but it was always there. I'm sure few people would be amazed as to how and why. Let me share some examples. When Sita was abducted, Lord Ram was in a lot of pain and constant grief, and he had self-doubts about himself, about his existence, as to why it happened in his presence. But don't you think that was also a kind of anxiety or depression that he went through? But again, when he met Sugriv and Hanuman, who gave him a purpose to find Sita, and he was charged up, and he said, okay, I think now he's more clear that he has to do what he has to do. That's also a form of getting a purpose and meaning in life. We all are aware how Arjun broke down in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And when Lord Krishna talked about how duties, detachment, and purpose, I think that was what we call counseling today. That is something we all see, that we seek help from other people to get counsel, to get direction. Even Shiv Puran and Vishnu Purans have mentioned about anger, man, and more, leading to various issues. These are multiple snippets that talk about how these feelings in a person can influence the peace of an individual. These texts do not use headers like mental health, anxiety, stress, but they recognize the man of emotions. So they're not new. They're always woven into the Indian scriptures and culture. In fact, in ancient Greece, the scriptures talk about this god of healing, Asclepius. I'm sure a lot of people would have heard about him. He was the hero. People in his temple used to go to relax, rest, recharge, and take a break, reflect upon themselves, and find solutions to their problems. So, today, and I must say, COVID has played a pivotal role, as I said earlier, in connecting us to somewhere this hidden, not hidden, but ignored concept of wellness and mental health. We've all witnessed that journey in our lives. But the question is how, and how in organizations. How do we get this built in our organizations? I think a lot of people have cracked that code of how today. Big names like Infosys, Tata's, Mahindra's, TCS, they have programs like Mitra, I Care, We Care. It is all about people. It is all about having a counselor. It is all about understanding what people need, what can create stress, what can create anxiety, and what should we be doing. But these are not only topics. We have to address, we have to take charge, and HR plays a very, very vital role in handling that. I think M Happy is one of the programs at Mahindra's that is well talked about. It is all about happiness quotient of people. Some of the organizations I read through that Zomato has a chief fitness officer focusing on not only physical health but also the mental health of people, the overall being of that individual. I think yoga sessions, stress management workshops, counseling, they are becoming more and more frequent and forming the base of many systems today. The concept has evolved from mere team building exercises to energize and charge to holistic team solutions. Happiness quotient, the culture, is now being the most important thread to bind people. What are the various steps that can help build this culture and integrate it as a part of the value systems? I think it starts from the top. We always say it starts from the top. So, leading by example. Leadership team should openly prioritize their own mental health, taking breaks, setting up boundaries. You know, when leadership does that, it makes it very easy for the others to follow. It makes it very easy for employees. Strong messaging from the top that it is a priority for us through town halls, meetings, mission statements. A lot of organizations have even made it a part of their value system. So again, leadership has to come in front. Training programs, workshops with a key focus on not only doing activities to focus on KPIs, but that shift in focus from KPIs to happiness quotient and culture is very, very important. Subscription to apps, counselors as a part of perks is another very, very important deep diving thing that organizations are contemplating today. A very small example, I don't know whether all of you would agree with me or not, but taking an off without an explanation is a very small step towards the same. I need an off, I need a break. I won't be able to be here for 2 days without questions asked. I think that's the first step and a very small step in this direction. No meeting Wednesdays or Fridays, chai breaks, tea times together is all about building a culture of focusing on priority about your health, mental health. Surveys, I think a lot of organizations are already doing a lot of people satisfaction surveys. But again, how to measure happiness quotient can only come through talking to each other, talking to the peer group, talking to the leaders, talking to HR. A core committee is being formed in many organizations. As it is said, leadership teams are very rigid at some places, but we have to break those barriers, and HR has a key role to play. In our organization, Mystique is basically a master franchisee of Nike factory stores in India. We have around 15 stores across pan-India, and you would understand retail as it looks glamorous and luxurious from outside. You know, people talk about, wow, Nike store, fancy stores, wonderful shoes, apparels. But the kind of role our people have, very tough. The athletes who stand at the floor selling people is one of the toughest thing that they do. It's so much of fatigue, both mental and physical. You are dealing with different type of consumers, you are dealing with different set of days, heavy days, sale days. And as HR and as a leadership team, we have break rooms for our people. We've got televisions in working conditions And we ensure that they take tea breaks and they take a break when they're tired. No questions asked. In our setup, we have core committee that focuses on mental health and physical health of our people. We have various programs that they go through as a part of their training, as a part of stress management. So a lot of initiatives we are taking. We are not a big setup, but even as a small setup, we've taken a lot of initiatives to ensure that people are happy, people are smiling, and they do their job with glory. This is always more than fixing a problem. I think it's about fostering a sense of belongingness and balance. And more than clinical approaches, this requires a lot of empathy and context. When we prioritize mental health, engagement does not need to be forced, it flows. I always believe and say, Man evam manushyanam karan, bandh mokshayo. Mind alone is the cause of both bondage and liberation. With that, thank you very much. And it's been a real pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Dipanshi.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for such an insightful session, everyone. Please give her a huge round of applause. Ma'am, please come in the center. We would like to present a small token of appreciation as you are here with us and given us your precious time. And to give away the token of appreciation, may I invite, with due respect, Ms. Meena Shah, Business Expansion on Surety. Ma'am, can we have you on the dais, please, to give away a small token of appreciation? To Ms. Madhumita for her time and the presentation she has given us, the insights she has shared with us. Thank you so much for joining in.